Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mahmoud Al-Odeh with another video for Lean Six Sigma workshop. In this video we will be talking about the improve phase, how we could improve the uh, the process, how we could improve the environment that we work on. But before we start with that, let's go ahead and work on some review from previous video. In the last video, we have talked about the analysis phase, where we analyze the data after we collect them, and we use different ways to analyze them. Whether we use the Ishikawa diagram, you could use the 5 whys, you could use the SIPOC, you could use the FMEA, you could use the QFD, you could use the process capability, and we've learned also an important thing, how we could calculate the sigma level. And also other parameters related to that, the DPU, the DPMO, and the PPM, and other important factors that we will be, that we covered in the previous video. In this video, again, we're going to focus on the improvement. This is the phase where we implement a new plan, a new process. And in particular, we will be discussing the tools. These are the important, what tools we could use to improve a situation, to improve a process, whether it's in the service industry or in manufacturing. Once you reach to this phase, you will have different selections, different options. In this phase, we will be learning how to pick the best option based on different parameters. Let's go ahead and start with this phase. I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, so in the improve phase, we're going to use the same thing, input, tools, and output. For the input, these are the outputs from the previous phase. We will be learn about the special and common cause variation, and we know that we use the Ishikawa diagram or the 5 whys or any of these tools. Also, we've learned about the DPMO, how to calculate the DPMO and the sigma level, because this will give us an understanding where we are right now, the current situation. And now, once we understand our current situation, what we need to do, we need to improve it. How we can improve it? Using some of these tools. One of the tools that we're going to talk about it is the return on investment, or ROI. And this is, we'll look into the options from financial perspectives. We have option A, option B, option C. Which one will give us the highest return on investment? What's the payback period? This is another factor. The net present value, the NPV. There is also other financial factors that we could talk about. The rate of return, the internal rate of return, the return on assets, ROA. There's so many financial tools that we could use it to make improvement, to implement a solution. Another tool that we're going to use about in this phase, it's called the solution design matrix. One of the most important tools that we use to select options is called the solution design. We need to know, based on different features in these designs, which one would be the best. And the nice thing about these tools, it's not based on opinions. It's not based on thoughts or vision. It's based on data. It's a systematic tool. And this is where you remove your personal preference from the process. You will not say, okay, I should do this. I would like to improve the process from A to C because I like it this way. No, this is not going to work in Six Sigma. In Six Sigma project, you have to provide data. You need to provide some data where you support your opinion with data, with a systematic tool. And these are the tools that we're going to talk about. return on investment for financial perspective, solution design matrix, design of experiment. Design of experiment where you look into different factors in the environment and you start playing with these factors. Okay, let's reduce this, let's increase this, and you study the process, the environment based on controlling these factors. If I keep this constant, let me improve this. Does this improve the overall situation or not? Now, this is where you need to learn about the design of experiment. We're going to touch briefly on the Tagoshi concepts and the different factors that will impact any environment. Also, we'll be talking about the project planning and management tools. What kind of tools that we could use? In order to implement the solution, you have to have a schedule. And how would you develop this schedule? Who is responsible? This is where the project management methodology will come in place and will organize the work. Say, okay, well, for this, if we need to improve this process, we have to divide them into 1, 2, 3, 4. Break down structure. You break it down, you break the big process into smaller pieces, into more manageable pieces. And in this case, you will be able to improve and implement the solution. You have to meet the deadline. How would you do that? You would use the Gantt chart. Who's the responsible for that? You could create a responsibility matrix where you show who's responsible for each phase and for each task. In this way, you could organize your work. Another tool that we could use is the prototype, or what we call the pilot, to pilot your project. The prototype, it's important because you don't want to implement the full scale of improvement for the whole company. You're not sure, even if you are 100% sure about your inputs and parameters, and you've done a great work on quality to ensure the best result, you will not receive the best result when you apply it. When you apply the solution, there's something gonna go wrong. So instead, if having a really bad experiment in the improvement phase, what would you do? You do a prototype, a pilot of project, small scale of the project. Let's apply this solution for XYZ department. And if it worked, then we will apply it for the whole company. Or instead of building the whole hospital, and we don't know how the design will look like, let's create a prototype, a small size hospital to show to the customer. And in this case, you will bring different opinions from different people. Say, okay, what do you think of this? So you start collecting opinions from the stakeholder, from the customers. And now you would, in this case, you would ensure the success of the project. As a result of this improvement phase, what would be the result? You will have the cost benefit for different projects, for different solutions. You'd say, okay, well, if I select option A, this is what's going to happen. This is option B, this is what the rate of return. Option C, this is the payback period. So you will have some data to use to pick from. Once you pick something, you have to implement it. So implementation is going to be as an output for the improve phase. And of course, you have, in order to implement the solution, you have to have an implementation phase. And we will be talking about the implementation phase in more details. I'm going to stop the video right here. And now we're going to go into more details into each one of these tools, into each one of these outputs. And we will be talking about the specific details for this improvement phase. See you in another video.